Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, that's it. Close your eyes and release any tension in your outward breath. That's it. And as you breathe in, just imagine that you're breathing in a feeling of resourcefulness and energy. Breathing in that energy, breathing in a feeling of resourcefulness. And as you exhale, just feeling that tension is leaving your body, enabling you to feel more and more refreshed with each and every inward breath, and feeling that anything undesirable is gradually leaving your body in your outward breath. That's right. And that could be tension now. That could be any stress leaving your body now. Breathe in that feeling of refreshing energy, invigorating you, making you feel more alert. And as you exhale, allowing any anxiety or tension to leave your body. That's it. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a specific place, perhaps a beach. And maybe the beach that springs to mind is a beach in the Maldives. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to be on that beach now. Perhaps you can imagine what it would feel like to be on the beach early in the morning. Perhaps, perhaps just a few minutes after sunrise. And you notice that it is surprisingly light. You can see everything that you need to see, but it's not super bright, but just bright enough. And I want you to feel, perhaps, the feeling of sand under your toes. Perhaps see part of the sunshine just glistening off the surface of the waves. I want you to know that at that time in the morning, just notice perhaps how peaceful everything feels. It feels peaceful, and you feel alert, refreshed, but actually very relaxed and at peace there. That's right. And I want you to imagine that you can see the ocean. Notice the color of the water at that time of day. Notice the color of the sky. And maybe it's not just that bright blue that it normally is there. Maybe at sunrise there are hints of yellow, red, or even pink. Maybe you can see some light clouds, fluffy white clouds. And as you look out to the ocean, you notice that it's just clear in front of you. Perhaps you can even see the horizon where the sky meets the sea. But in your peripheral vision, you notice that both to the left and the right are those wooden pathways that lead into the sea, connecting to wooden villas on stilts, hovering above the surface level of the sea. And if you can imagine what it would be like to see those villas and see that sand and see the surface of the water on the sea, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And what I want you to do is I want you to activate that logical, analytical part of your mind. And I want you to imagine somewhere, somewhere on that beach is a yoga mat. And I want you to imagine that that logical, analytical part of your mind is attempting a yoga move that you can't currently do, that is a challenge. It's currently beyond your current abilities, physically, or from balance, or from strength. But I want you to imagine that that logical, analytical, disciplined part is determined to keep attempting that particular move. And I want you to feel your body there on that yoga mat, just resting on the surface of the sand, perhaps while you're looking out at the sea. And I want you to attempt that yoga move. Allow the logical, analytical part to keep attempting that yoga move, noticing tiny incremental improvements, but not quite getting it. And I want you to allow that logical, analytical part, the determined part, to keep on attempting that yoga move as you allow a part of you that wants more balance, a part of you that wants to change your relationship with money, to leave your physical body and continue walking along the beach, looking back, seeing that logical, analytical part there on the yoga mat on the beach, still attempting that challenging yoga move. And if you can see that version of you attempting that move, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. But the part that wants change, the part that wants a different relationship with money, a better relationship with money, a future where you can create more value for other people, but a version of you that would like to be recognized financially for the level of impact you have on other people's lives, allow that part to continue walking on the sand towards these wooden pathways that lead into these villas. And I want you to walk on that wooden pathway, noticing how private the beach is, that there simply isn't anyone around at this time of day. And I want you to walk towards one of the villas, standing outside the wooden door. And I want you to appreciate that on the other side of the door, inside that villa, is going to be two different parts of your subconscious mind. There is going to be the parental part, and there is going to be the part that represents business. And sometimes there can be a conflict, almost like these parts are pulling in different directions. But I want you to imagine that as you walk into this cabin, this villa on stilts over the surface of the water, you will get to meet these two different parts of your subconscious mind. And let's enter this wooden villa now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, opening the door, walking in. And I want you to be first introduced to this parenting part. I want you to see perhaps a version of you that represents you, you as a mum, you as a parent, you as a homemaker. And the interesting thing is that you may not even see you as you. You may see you as a character, an archetype, someone that represents that role. And if you can see the part that represents that maternal mum part, just let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to thank that part. Thank that part for enabling you to have such a positive impact on your children. Be specific in your gratitude and communicate to that part all the wonderful things that you've been able to do for your partner, your children, the home that you've created. And notice the expression on that part's face as it experiences that recognition and appreciation and really values that. And if you can see that part really appreciating the gratitude that you have for that part and the role it does for you and your family, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. But I also want you to communicate that sometimes that part can enable you to feel guilty, can enable you to feel conflicted, that sometimes unintentionally that part can mean that you miss opportunities when it comes to business and impacting other lives. And I want you to just share a few examples in a very non judgmental, non critical way. Share some examples to that part of when that's happened, of when by prioritizing family, children, perhaps you have missed out on opportunities to impact other lives. And notice that as you share those memories, those experiences, this part that has such positive intentions had no intention of having this impact in this other area of your life. This part only wants to do good things, and you've already recognized those good things. And if this part almost seems surprised or defensive, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I want you to again thank the part for the positive intentions, these good things, and ask that part if it's okay if I communicate directly with that part. And if that part is okay for me to communicate directly with them, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to now at this point shift your perception. So instead of looking at the part, I want you to imagine being that part, climbing into that version of you, becoming the part. So as I'm communicating to you, I'm now communicating to that part. And when I'm communicating to you and the part simultaneously, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I'd like to echo that appreciation, that gratitude, thanking you for that positive intention. Clearly, family is important, and doing the right things to have the biggest positive impact on your family means a lot to you. And if you didn't prioritize in this way, you wouldn't have been able to have that same impact. And you had no intention to sabotage or conflict or interrupt aspirations and ambitions to build a career, a business, a coaching practice that can impact other lives. You had no intention to get in the way of that. And if that's the case, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. It's just that prioritizing something good and something important, you accidentally, inadvertently meant that focus was shifted away from other also important things. And I'm wondering if you'd be receptive to a future outcome where you still get to have this incredible impact on your children, on your partner, building a home that you can be proud of, while simultaneously positively influencing and impacting this other part, this other part that has dreams and goals of building a business. If you'd be receptive to a part where both can happen without sacrifice or compromise in either of those areas, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I wonder if you've ever entertained the idea of what it would be like to set an example to your children of what it can be to be a mum, but also someone someone that is growing and building a business. Perhaps they already know. They know that you care, and they know that they are important to you. But what if simultaneously you have an opportunity to be a slightly different role model for them, to show them that it's not all or nothing, that by being a mum doesn't prevent you from growing a business? And I wonder if by growing this business, you're able to learn skills, learn skills that you can help other people, but also help yourself, and simultaneously improve, improve things within your own family simply by what you learn. Many times when people find a business that they can build through passion and genuine purpose, it increases their level of enthusiasm for life, generating much more energy, which can mean that the way they do those other things that are important and essential somehow gets easier. And I wonder if deep down you can entertain the idea that by spending some of your time, but certainly not all of your time, building this coaching practice, this new business, that actually that can make you an even better mum, partner, and homemaker. And if you believe that that's possible, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to perhaps look to a different side of the room and notice there is a part there that represents your business part. And I want you to shift perspective now back from this mum, this parenting part, back into the part that entered the room to begin with, the part that wants change and balance and a future where you can have the best of both worlds. And when you're in that part, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to see that other part now that represents the business part of you, that ambitious part that wants to grow and build a business, but also impact people's lives positively. And if you can see that part, let me know by nodding your head. And perhaps that part reminds you of the version of you that you were before you built a family, before that priorities changed. And they changed for good reason. But if that part reminds you, perhaps, of an earlier version of you that had that ambition, that energy, that determination to have an impact, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And perhaps at some level, part of you feels that by creating a family, you've neglected that part, that you haven't been able to give that part the same attention, focus, or influence that it had in the past. And if that's something that you feel sounds true, let me know by nodding your head. And there is a desire to reconnect with that lost part. But you want to do it in a way where you're not becoming less of a mum, less of a partner. And if it's the case that you're looking for a future where you can grow one without sacrificing the other, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And what I want you to do is I want you to thank that part. Thank that part for reminding you of how capable you are, of how ambitious you are, of how determined you are. And I also want you to thank that part that if you can recall at least one or two times that your life before you were a mum taught you skills and abilities that made you more organized or better as a partner, as a parent, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to thank that part for giving you those skills because those skills enabled you to do something important, even better than if you didn't have that past and have those experiences. And as you thank that part for reminding you of all those qualities, skills, resources, and attributes, again, notice their expression, perhaps a feeling of pride and accomplishment, a feeling of being validated. But I also want you to share your concern, your fear that if you just reactivated that part, perhaps the same way that when you were in your maybe 20s or early 30s, your fear perhaps is that that will make you less, less of a mum, less of a partner, that somehow you wouldn't be as good of a mum if you allowed this part to simply return back to how it was. And if that's the case, just let me know and communicate that to that part. And I want you to ask that part if it's okay if I communicate directly to that part, the part responsible for your drive, your ambition, your desire to grow and build a business. And I want you to now shift your perspective from you into that part, the part that represents that drive to create and build a business. And when you're in that part, in that body, adopt the same posture and expression that that part has in that room and nod your head to let me know that I'm now communicating to you in that part. That's it. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your ambition, your drive, your determination, your creativity. And I wonder if you would be receptive to activating many of these things that you really enjoyed, made you feel significant, made you feel alive, so long as you knew that it wouldn't compromise your ability to be a good mum, that actually there is a possible future where you are able to grow and build your business, increasing feelings of confidence. Because I want you to recall a time perhaps when you just started out in your career and there were many things that you didn't know how to do, but you had that fearlessness, you had that desire to do things that were uncomfortable until you got comfortable. And if you can think of times like that, let me know by nodding your head. And perhaps there were times that you had to do certain things, perhaps to generate clients, perhaps to grow a business or a role within a company. And that needed you to communicate with people that you didn't feel communicating with, confident communicating with. And I want you to understand that you already have all of the neural pathways, all of the experiences to move out of your comfort zone, to do things that are not necessarily comfortable or easy, but worthy and strategic, that could be useful in some way. And if you can recall that you have those skills, qualities, resources that could enable you to do things that would help not just grow a business, but grow a business in a way that takes you out of your comfort zone, but makes you feel alive and proud and accomplished, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to just point to where you feel that resource that enables you to step out of your comfort zone. Just point to where you feel it within you. That's it. And you know where it is. And I want you to make that feeling grow bigger. And notice as it grows bigger, so does your courage grow, your confidence, your ability to trust your own abilities, and to also figure out figure out where your strengths lie and what is the right approach for you. Because the first career or the first job or the first task that you attempted in your life wasn't necessarily the right thing for you. And you try different sports as a child, you try different musical instruments as a child, you tried different hobbies and different pursuits. And not everything that you tried was the right thing for you. But by trying, eventually you found things that you connected with, that you found that you were good at and you enjoyed. And if you can recall things that you only found that you were good at and enjoyed by trying things out and experimenting, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And that resource will enable you in your future to try different ways of building your business, of acquiring new clients, of finding a niche that enables you to create huge amounts of value for other people. Not by assuming it can only be done one way, but by testing lots of different things out, finding what aligns with you at an emotional level, but also taps into previous levels of competency that we can reactivate now. That's it. That's it. And I want you to decide now that one of your hands is going to represent the business part of you. And I want you to just raise that hand. That's it. And now I want you to flip and jump perspective into that parenting part. And as you do so, raise the other hand, and that other hand represents the parenting part. That's it. And now what I want you to do is I want you to now jump into that other part, the part that came into the room, seeing the two other parts. And what I want you to do is to now accept that one hand represents your business part and the other hand represents your parenting part, the part that makes you a good mum and a good partner. And what I want you to do is I want you to slowly, only at the extent to which your subconscious mind is happy for these two parts to find a compromise, a balance, a future where you can put your children first, but still make time for your business, a future where you can grow your business and the skills that you learn growing your business will help make you a better mum a better partner, and build a better home. A future where the income that you can create from your business perhaps reduce stress and increase opportunity for you and the wider family. I want you to very slowly take both hands and incrementally move them together. And when they touch, it signifies that these two separate parts of your subconscious mind are going to be working no longer in different directions, but in collaboration. This driven business part will work hand in hand with this parenting part so that you get the best of both worlds. And you will find that those skills that you learned as a mum will help make you a better business person and coach. And those skills that you acquired in business and career will help make you a better mum. That's it, slowly but surely. And as they connect, feel that these two fractured parts of your subconscious mind are, for the first time in a long time, able, willing, and desiring to collaborate and work together. That's it. I want you to keep those hands together. And now imagine the future over the next few days, weeks, and months as to what that collaborative partnership looks like. I want you to notice that that time that you set aside, perhaps in the mornings to grow your business, you're able to be clearer with those boundaries because as a mum, you have clear boundaries for your children and you will enable yourself to have clear boundaries for yourself. You will utilize that time that has been set aside either to work with clients, but if there are no clients to work with, you will utilize that time to generate new clients or figure out ways of learning how to acquire new clients and grow your business. And if that makes sense to your subconscious mind, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. But you will not take that so far that that time starts to encroach on other areas of your life. This is a balance, a partnership. And I want you to feel that, as in all good partnerships, there will be the occasional compromise. But the key to a good partnership is establishing clear boundaries. This future will involve you building a growing business, a flourishing business, where you get to charge your worth to those people that can afford, but also figure out a way to be caring, and find win-win outcomes for those that can't afford to work with you. Because it's not in every case that you are only disciplined with your children. Sometimes you are accommodating, sometimes you are caring, sometimes there is lots of compassion. And I want you to imagine that those qualities that you have as a mum are now being utilized by you in business. And if you can imagine that future where you get the best of both worlds, that you get mum time, time with your children, time with your partner, but also time to grow your business, feeling a sense of accomplishment, pride, creativity, and fulfillment and impact that comes from helping the lives of other people, just let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then you can relax those fingers and hands. You can separate them. And even if your hands are separated, those parts of your subconscious mind now have good communication. Because in business, communication is essential. And in family, communication is an essential attribute. And you now have two parts that have excellent communication skills, able to communicate well with each other to create a future where you have balance. You get the fulfillment that comes from being able to improve other people's lives, but you will also have the fulfillment that comes from knowing that you are building a strong family. And at the point where you feel all these parts are working in collaboration fully to turn this idea into a genuine future, just let me know by nodding your head. There are three parts of you in that wooden villa hovering over the water in the Maldives. And I want you to imagine that all three are now morphing into one, each stepping inside each other, so that these three different parts, the part that wants change, the part that wants to grow a business, and the part that wants to have a strong family, are all moving into one version of you. And when they are all as one, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And now it's time to leave this wooden villa. But you leave as a different person, a person where your unconscious parts are now working together rather than in conflict to create a future where you get the best of both worlds. And as you leave that villa, walking back down that wooden pathway back onto the beach, I want you to notice that all along there's been a critical, analytical part trying to attempt a yoga move all this time. See that part on that yoga mat on that beach. And I want you to walk over to that part, climbing into that part, so that now even the analytical part is all integrated as one. And I want you to unlock new parts of potential and do that final move, but this time do it perfectly. It's been attempting it all the time, but it needed the balance from the other parts to accomplish. Because sometimes a part working on its own isn't as strong or as capable as those working as a team in collaboration with other parts. Sometimes the total is greater than the sum of its parts. And I want you to feel that, do that yoga move, feel that all parts are working as one to create this future, a future desirable for you, for your family, and for your clients. And now I want you to imagine standing up on that beach, all parts integrated, and realize that this is just a dream within a dream. And actually, you're not on a beach in the Maldives. There you are on a chair listening to my voice inside your ears right now, listening to my words. That's it. In a few moments' time, I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a feeling of being whole, of being holistic, of parts that were previously pulling in different directions, now moving in the same direction. I want you to awaken feeling full of energy, clarity, alignment, looking forward to taking the occasional step outside of your comfort zone, but to find ways of growing your business that align with your values and your way of working. You will awaken fully in the moment, looking forward to the future. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. How did you find that?
That was fantastic.
Excellent. What did you notice from that? Was there any kind of key things that came up that was kind of a bit unusual, or that you wanted to kind of share at all?
What I found is that it was very fluid. What you were saying really matched what I was like, how I feel and what I would like, and everything was like going. That's why I could always note when you asked me to note, because it was, yes, it was the next step, let's say. So it was very accurate. What else? No, I think.
And what was the future that you thought of when you had these parts that previously were kind of in battling with each other? Because there was this kind of power play. It's kind of like clearly that the mum part was in charge, and that mum part probably had a fear, a worry that if the business part, kind of was in control, then it would make you less of a good mum, so there's this kind of worry, this concern. But when those parts were working together and collaborating, what kind of future did you see?
Well, first, it was very nice to remember that part of me, like back, and I could see how I was, and that felt really, really good. And the future was, yes, I saw myself having both good things and still being able to be the mom and have what I have now, but being able to keep my space for doing what I want to.
Fantastic. And that's the thing. It's all about balance. It's all about compromise. If you put everything into the business at everything, well, then you might be successful in business, but then sacrifice other things. And what you've been feeling actually is the other end of the spectrum, that because you have been putting the children first and your family first, then it means that you're missing out on some of the things that you really enjoyed and felt good about, in career and business and these kind of things. And clearly there's a part of you that really wants to cultivate that. You just don't want to do it in a way that encroaches on all these good things that you're building. And that's where this element of balance really comes from.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it felt fantastic, honestly. I feel really good just now.
Amazing. Well, I really appreciate that. So just to let you know, I'm going to edit this and get it out on the podcast. And when I do, I'll send you a link so that you've got a copy of that. So if you ever want to listen to this again, you've kind of got the audio of that. And I just really appreciate your time. And, for me, again, just to kind of highlight why I'm doing this, it's two key things. Like one, I'm building a course called Hypnotic Wealth. And for me, it's not just you. Lots of people have these kind of inner conflicts that prevent them from doing the kind of things that would increase their amount of money or business success, because they fear that if they do that, it's going to mean that they have to be less of something else that's also important. So for me, really valuable insight, because it helps me improve my course and create content. But equally, it's going to go out as an episode on the Hypnotist, which is the podcast as well. So thank you for being a volunteer today. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for taking me, and this session was fantastic. Really. I have really loved all the sessions that I have heard from you. And yes, I love what you're doing. I love how you're doing, how successful you're with this. And yes, and thank you so much for this session. I really so much appreciate it.
More than welcome. Well, it's fantastic to work with you. And all the best. Enjoy your evening. And take care.
Yes, you too. Please say hello to Andrea, the children.
I will do. In fact, I could grab her now. I'll